Breaking news from the stadium tonight as an anonymous fan foot the bill for 55,000 hot dogs, bringing that sweet tubed meat to everyone in attendance.
Free dogs! Yeah!
55,000 hot dogs? What does that even cost? While the identity of this Frankfurter philanthropist remains anonymous, their all-beefy generosity will go down in history.
The new Mega Millions. More to win means more to give. How you spend it is up to you.
Yeah!
For game odds and details, visit sceducationlottery.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
You look amazing. What have you been doing?
You've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, if you qualify, Zelty providers can prescribe semaglutide, the same active ingredient, at up to 90% less without insurance. Done all online.
No wait at the doctor's office or pharmacy?
No wait. Zelty can ship the same active ingredients as other expensive GLP-1s to your door.
Get started with Zelty today for just $39. Call pound 250 and say keyword CARE. That's the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less. That's pound 250 keyword CARE.
Everything from clothing to household items are getting more expensive each day. American Giant is about keeping things simple and close to home. They aren't affected by tariffs because their products never leave the U.S. Support American-made tariff-free clothing with American Giant with American Giant. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com. That's 20% off when you use code STAPLE20 at american-giant.com.
Spectrum Mobile is reinventing wireless again. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month per line. No contracts, no added taxes or fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60% with Spectrum Mobile. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999 or visit a store near you.
Offer valid for new customers on 2+ unlimited lines. Spectrum Internet required. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans among major national carriers as of 9/20/21. Prepaid excluded. Restrictions apply.
Isn't it time for Celebrity Cruises' biggest Cyber Monday sale? Drinks, Wi-Fi, and tips are always included. Plus, book by November 30th to get 50% off your second guest cruise fare and get up to $300 to spend on board. Visit Celebrity.com, call 1-800-CELEBRITY, or contact your travel advisor. Celebrity Cruises. Journey safe. Journey wonderful. Offer applies to select sailings. Additional restrictions apply. Visit Celebrity.com for details. Ships Registry, Malta.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
Tina Helmuth is writing an ongoing series of fact-fiction books that boldly takes on today's most heinous crimes: the abduction, sexual trafficking, and cannibalization of our children. Suffer the Little Children, The Wrath of the Father, and Unbreakable. Deeply researched and mixed with the supernatural, good versus evil makes these thrillers hard to put down, shining a light on the root cause of these crimes and introducing a spiritual solution. Justice will be served. Available at lulu.com in paperback or ebook.
PureSoapFlakes.com. 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. Order today at puresoapflakes.com, greenhome.com, amazon.com, or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
Hey you, podcast listener. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. Take the blue pill. You wake up in your bed and go back to listening to mundane podcasts that won't challenge your religious beliefs and your so-called truths about reality, the universe, and consciousness. Take the red pill. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast, hosted by Mark Anthony Peterson, and he will show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Event Horizon takes a walk into the paranormal with a splash of conspiracy. It's the podcast that would be born if David Icke and the X-Files had a baby. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast by Mark Anthony Peterson on Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Stitcher, or any of your other favorite podcast platforms. Remember, all we are offering is the truth, nothing more.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. I'm the president of Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting. You can find me by going to emailrevealer.com, get an autographed copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. Real quick, I want to welcome our new sponsor. Where is this guy? Ed isn't in the rotation yet. Dynamic Solutions 2. They offer the finest in fast, personal, affordable credit repair. If your credit's in bad shape and you need a new car, you're ready to buy a new house, you want to rent an apartment or get a job, apply for a job, well, Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit marks. It's affordable monthly prices. They take Visa, MasterCard, PayPal. And you go to Dynamic Solutions 2, that's the number 2, or call 424-888-2820. You enter promo code ED, or you mention Ed Opperman when you call, and you're going to get a 10% discount. Okay, you can't beat that. They offer a free credit consultation, and you get 10% off of that too, even the free one. And all negative items are removed. You get back in the positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, that's the number 2. So check these guys out. I've talked to them. They know their stuff. Okay, you can count on that. One more thing. Okay, man, let's turn into a night of plugs. Okay. If you've ever good old Ed Opperman, I hate the word fan, but if you enjoy the show and you're into all the stuff I'm doing here, I'm receiving an award here in Las Vegas, Nevada, on November 13th at Sunset Station Hotel and Casino. It's off the strip, but it's a really nice place. It's near my house. And I'm receiving an award for the Best Radio Talk Show from the Producer Honors Choice Award. Okay? So you can go to their website, which is, where is that? Come on. ProducerChoiceHonors.com. And you can buy some tickets to this event here. They're going to have to dinner. They got a concert, awards, all that kind of stuff like that. Then there's like an after party too. And you don't get to hang out. I'll hang out with you. You come down, okay? That'll be fun. I can't wait for that. Oh my God, I can just imagine people show up for that thing. But anyway, I'm very honored to be receiving this award and some recognition to my work here. Finally, I'm going to stand up and say, you love me. You all love me. Anyway, better stop fooling around because I got some serious topics going on tonight. And another reason why I'm doing this for you tonight live is because tomorrow night at this time, I'm going to be in Florida, meeting up with my family, and also meeting up with my daughter, Victoria. She's coming down from D.C. to visit me in Florida. And so I'm going to do the show tomorrow night. Then I'm going to hop in a car and drive 3 hours and pick her up. So I may not be able to squeeze in my live show tomorrow night, which is why I also did a live show last night about the whole controversy with Fiona Barnett and my personal experience with that. So we'll get into all that maybe toward the end of this too. So why do I want to do a commentary on my interview with Conchita Sarnoff? Okay, let me tell you what happened with this thing. This interview took place May 13th. Or we arranged the interview May 13th, 2016. And it's interesting because it was in June 2016 that I was hired on to be the private investigator in the Jeffrey Epstein lawsuit. So here I have this interview with... I had contacted Conchita Sarnoff a couple of times trying to arrange an interview with her. Never heard back from her. Then I started going into negotiations, I guess you might call it, or conversations with the attorney for Katie Doe and the lawsuit against Donald Trump, presidential candidate, and Jeffrey Epstein, convicted sex offender. And so originally, Conchita Sarnoff never got back to me. She ignored me. And then once we started getting to the point where I was about to be hired by this law firm to work on this case about this same topic, I hear back from Conchita Sarnoff. Ed, I would love to do your show. Okay. So I booked it right away. We scheduled it, back and forth in email, blah, blah, blah. And so, the show's already done. I think it was the night before I was about to do the interview. I got a phone call. I got an email, I think it was, about booking the show. And with a phone number in Arizona. I'll call the number. And it turns out that it's Conchita Sarnoff's publisher trying to help me along to book this interview. And I said, no, we already have all that booked. Is there a problem with that? And he goes, no. I just want you to tell you about myself. I'm Victor Ostrovsky, the Mossad agent. And I'm the publisher of Conchita Sarnoff's book. I publish her book for her. And I've written a couple of books myself. One is called The Way of Deception. And it describes my work in the Mossad and how we use deception to get our way. Then I wrote another book called The Other Side of Deception, where I even tell more stories about my life in the Mossad. So, at the time, I said, well, this is very interesting. But at the time, you got to remember, this is way back in June of 2016, May of 2016. The overt intelligence connection and the overt Mossad connection to the Epstein story was not public at that time whatsoever. Yeah, you had the connections to Ghislaine Maxwell and her father, Robert Maxwell, but it wasn't right out there in your face that Jeffrey Epstein had such a Mossad connection. And when this happened to me, and I started talking about the connection to Epstein and the Mossad, a lot of people said, oh, Ed, you're turning down that road there with the anti-Semitism. And I said, no, you don't understand. The guy called me. And I even was talking about, I remember I was a guest on another show called Lift the Veil. And I was on there, and I started talking about this Mossad connection. And everyone was laughing. Oh, if he thinks he got a call from the Mossad, then it wasn't the Mossad. This guy thinks the Mossad called him. Oh, foolish Ed. What does he have to do in any of this? Okay. And at that time, I couldn't say, hey, I was the PI in the case, because I was still under a non-disclosure agreement. So I took this information, and I didn't want to jump on the air and start talking about it on the air blatantly about what was going on. So I fed it to some people, and then some people knew what I was talking about, and they started digging into it, and they started talking about it on their shows and their websites and their articles and things like that. And a couple of things we turned up is Conchita Sarnoff, who authored this book, Trafficking, about good old Jeffrey Epstein. By the way, and if you listen to the interview that I just played a few minutes ago, she had been friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And she had been friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. And she had been friends with Donald Trump. These were her friends. this was a social circle that she hung out with these people. And she had no idea what was going on. And once she found out, it was her duty to write this book. Because who else could write a better book than her? And who else could be a better publisher to go to than a Mossad agent who specializes in deception? I could think of no one better. Then it turns out, too, that she needed a law firm to represent herself and her interests and the interests of her organization, which is an advocacy group for people and victims of human trafficking. She's an advocate for them. All right? And so she needed a law firm. And who did she choose? Kirkland Ellis. The same law firm that represented Jeffrey Epstein, the same law firm that William Barr worked at, the same law firm that I know there's another connection, but I forget what it is at the moment. Okay, but it's the same law firm that negotiated this big deal, and William Barr also happened to work there too. I think it was also the one too that's anyway. Then we also find out too that it was Conchita Sarnoff who was the gateway when Alexander Acosta started receiving some heat about, hey, why did you give this great plea deal to this billionaire pedophile? He wrote this 3-page letter. And I remember the first time I read this letter, and it talked about how he was under investigation by private investigators, and they were contacting his boss, and they were putting pressure on him, and political pressure and stuff like that, and he caved in because the pressure was too much, and that's why he did the sweetheart deal. It was a 3-page letter. And I remember reading that letter, and I talked to him. I says, Alexander Acosta, the kind of attack they went on him, this is unheard of. And it turns out that it was Conchita Sarnoff who published that letter for Mr. Acosta. It's like a small group of friends here. Right? If you'll just listen to this interview, there's also a part in there where I talk about the Vicky Ward quote of Mr. Trump there, where he says, Epstein's a great friend. He likes girls on the beautiful women as much as I do, many on the younger side. All that stuff, you know.
The holidays are here, and this year, there's no better way to share the magic of the season than with a festive bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers has holiday bouquets guaranteed to make everyone on your list smile. Right now, you can get 24 holiday light roses for just $39.99. Send a Merry Christmas with 1-800-Flowers. To get 24 holiday light roses for just $39.99, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
Isn't it time for Celebrity Cruises' biggest Cyber Monday sale? Drinks, Wi-Fi, and tips are always included. Plus, book by November 30th to get 50% off your second guest cruise fare and get up to $300 to spend on board. Visit Celebrity.com, call 1-800-CELEBRITY, or contact your travel advisor. Celebrity Cruises. Journey safe. Journey wonderful. Offer applies to select sailings. Additional restrictions apply. Visit Celebrity.com for details. Ships Registry, Malta.
Joe loves the social life, because I had it memorized. You know, by the way, when I first found that quote way, way back, and you know, I was talking about it before 2016, because we had just heard it a few minutes ago. We had a big debate over it. When I first found that quote, and I made a meme. I didn't make it myself, but I had a friend of mine make a meme for me. And at the bottom of the meme, it had a link to my YouTube channel. And shortly after that, the YouTube channel got shut down. And people would see my meme, and they would hear me talking about this and over, and they would say, Ed, we can't find that quote. Where did you find the quote? Because you couldn't just Google the quote. You had to put in New Yorker, Vicky Ward, then put in part of the quote, and the magazine article would come up. Then you'd have to go search through the article to find the quote. So this wasn't like a well-known thing. People thought I made it up. Everyone's accused me of making this thing up. All right, and here we are. I'm not the kind of guy to say I told you so. Everyone knows Ed Opperman's not the type of guy. Of course, I'm getting an award that says Ed Opperman never says I told you so. That's going to be my next award. Let's see how we're doing on time. And this is going to be a very long show, so don't get your hopes up. 15 minutes, okay. 5 of that was intro.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
So, I figured it was important for me to share this with you, what my experience was here with Conchita Sarnoff, her Mossad publisher, Kirkland Ellis, and all these wonderful connections you hear about. If you notice, too, she had mentioned some things, too, about how Vicky Ward had changed her tune about all this, and she had become friends with them again. And we find out now, too, that Vicky Ward did maintain a relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell after all this activity was uncovered. Very interesting group here with this bunch. You got to wonder what's going on. But this is when you hear me over the years, over and over and over, and you hear me complaining about the low-hanging fruit in this reporting on this story, in this investigation, a lot of people are going to hear what I'm saying right now, and they're not going to make the connection of what I'm trying to get across to you. Okay? Because people don't listen that carefully, and unless you really spell it out for them, they don't pick it up, you know. And that sometimes that's a problem. But I do the best I can to tell you what I can, how I can, as much as I can. And you really got to listen hard sometimes. Don't over-listen and come jump to crazy conclusions, you know. But I do the best I can to tell you what I know. And if you go back and listen to these past interviews with a more sharper ear, you might learn some things. And I get very frustrated over the years when I would see over and over disinformation being written about this story. Especially the Katie Doe stuff that I knew for a fact what was going on. And then I'd read these stories in the news and stuff like that were just so total disinformation. They were hatchet pieces. Okay, and this happened over and over. Now, I guess I could touch on this thing now that I've been wanting to do is last night I did a commentary on Fiona Barnett and played an old interview with her. Then I played a commentary after that. And a lot of people are coming out and saying, "Oh, Ed, I always thought she was a fake. Ed, you keep going out there and exposing them. Ed, you show them." Right? Or, "Ed, why are you out to get them? Why are you out to get them?" Now, that's interesting that people would have that reaction to what I report to you. See, I report to you what my experiences are and lay it out to you. Just like, you know, I can get hired to investigate something. You know, a woman wants to hire me to investigate if her husband is cheating on her. And I can come back and say, you know, I could not find him cheating on you. I did not find any evidence of him cheating on you. Yeah, you didn't do it. You just sat back. You didn't do any work. You did nothing. You did nothing for me. I want my money back. You didn't try anything. You know, well, you know, I did the work. I could not, I could not find any evidence of him cheating. Or the other way around, you know, "Oh, my husband would never cheat on me." Oh, I found one time that this woman's husband was gay. He was on a gay website. "Oh, you're crazy. I have 5 kids. My husband would never be on a gay website." I actually found a picture of him on that website, and I showed it to her. So all I can do, guys, okay, is observe, investigate, and then report back to you my findings. Or when I'm dealing with a certain person, I can report back to you what my experience was with that person. Now, if you take that as an interpretation that, well, I'm attacking them, or I'm out to get them, or I'm out to destroy them, that's fine, okay? I'm telling you my experience. You can live your experience your way, and that's fine with me. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to agree with me. You could express your disopinion with me. If I have something inaccurate, if I've reported something inaccurate, I want to know that. I'm more than happy to be corrected. But don't think that I have a motive behind what I do, okay, and that I'm out to get someone or that I'm out to expose somebody. I'm not. So if you interpret my words as that the person you're supporting or you're friends with, or you support or you enjoy listening to their information, as that they've been exposed.
Es momento de revisar la cobertura en el mercado de seguros de salud y ver si usted califica para una mejor cobertura y precios más bajos. Para conocer sus opciones, visite healthcare.gov. ¿Complicado? No se preocupe. Un navegador de Covering Florida puede ayudarle a encontrar el mejor plan para usted y su familia. Visite coveringflorida.org o llame 877-813-9115. Desde ahora hasta el 15 de enero. Es gratis y confidencial. 877-813-9115.
Isn't it time for Celebrity Cruises' biggest Cyber Monday sale? Drinks, Wi-Fi, and tips are always included. Plus, book by November 30th to get 50% off your second guest cruise fare and get up to $300 to spend on board. Visit Celebrity.com, call 1-800-CELEBRITY, or contact your travel advisor. Celebrity Cruises. Journey safe. Journey wonderful. Offer applies to select sailings. Additional restrictions apply. Visit Celebrity.com for details. Ships Registry, Malta.
Ooh, so they've been, I'm out, they've been, exposed. What's the other one? I guess that's it. Then you've taken the information I provided to you and you've come to your own conclusion, which is the best that we can all do. And it's all that I expect. I don't expect you to follow me and believe everything I say 100%, but I really do try to stick to what I know and what I've experienced. And so if I report to you what my experience is, that is what my experience was. You may have a different experience, and you can go about that your own way. Now, we have another upcoming show. I was supposed to tape today with Jody Williams, who was the madam I had on recently, who had all those connections to Heidi Fleiss and who's that? Deborah Palfrey, the D.C. madam. And I had her on my show, and we talked about a lot more stuff off the air than we talked on the air. And we both agree that she is a little scattered in her presentation, okay? And we're working on that for the second interview with her. Because since she's come on my show, I was contacted by this woman, Jessica Collins. And everyone might be familiar with that name because she's running all these YouTube videos now talking about how she was a victim of Jeffrey Epstein and no one wants to help her and all the lawyers and all the other victims are all just a big act and a big show and she's the real one. Now, when she contacted me, first she contacted Jody Williams and she talked to her saying that she was worked for Deborah Palfrey, the D.C. madam. And they had their communications back and forth. I'm not privy to all the communications, but we're going to present it here to you. Then she contacted me, and she presented herself to me by saying, hey, I know Jody Williams, and insinuating, hey, I've been vetted by Jody Williams. And then she tells me this whole story about how she worked for the D.C. madam, but she was kind of tricked, and then she was abducted by the D.C. madam, and then she was sent to these hotel rooms, and she was in there with Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew and John McCain. But she didn't know their names, and they never told them that's what is their names. But 10 years later, she saw their faces on TV, and she recognized them. And there was a lot of other issues and discrepancies and credibility issues with this woman. Well, I found out since that not only she has no permission to be using Jody Williams' name as a reference, okay? And Jody Williams has contacted her since and says, please stop using my name as a reference. And she says, no, I will not stop using your name as a reference, okay? So once again, guys, it's really because this type of crime. By the way, this one, Jessica Collins was an adult. She was 23 years old when she entered into all this activity. She was never a child victim of anything that she's discussed with me or of these people, these names she's issuing. Now, it's very easy because we're all disgusted by children being abused by adults. And I think we can all logically agree that we're all on the same side of that debate. Is it good or bad for little kids to be getting raped by adults? We would all agree, oh my God, of course, it's bad. So then we start to think, well, then anybody who comes to us with these allegations must be a good person, and they're on the same side as me.
Bubba Wallace here from 2311 Racing. Funny thing about being fast, you end up waiting a lot. First to show up, first in line, then just waiting. Me, I rev up Chumba Casino. With over 200 social casino games, no slow lanes here. Why sit around when you can spin?
Start your engine!
I'm already racing. Your turn. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
When they could have other motives for coming forward with this information. They could have motives of financial interest, okay? Like I keep talking about, that was my job in the Tiger Woods case, to determine who really had a relationship with Woods and who didn't, because many women were coming forward with a financial motive to cash in on that. And that was my job. Now, once I was in this mix with the Epstein stuff.
The holidays are here, and this year, there's no better way to share the magic of the season than with a festive bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers has holiday bouquets guaranteed to make everyone on your list smile. Right now, you can get 24 holiday light roses for just $39.99. Send a Merry Christmas with 1-800-Flowers. To get 24 holiday light roses for just $39.99, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
Isn't it time for Celebrity Cruises' biggest Cyber Monday sale? Drinks, Wi-Fi, and tips are always included. Plus, book by November 30th to get 50% off your second guest cruise fare and get up to $300 to spend on board. Visit Celebrity.com, call 1-800-CELEBRITY, or contact your travel advisor. Celebrity Cruises. Journey safe. Journey wonderful. Offer applies to select sailings. Additional restrictions apply. Visit Celebrity.com for details. Ships Registry, Malta.
Other women have come to me, too, claiming that they were victims of Epstein. I vetted them out, and they were not. And I could not prove that they were. And they've had other motives coming forward as well. Now, there's even more to this, because sometimes I'll be working on a case, and someone is a legitimate victim. They're a legitimate victim of abuse from an adult. But even that, or of a situation, okay? But even that person is not all on the same side with us, because they're up to their own shenanigans, and they're doing their own crimes equal to or worse than the crime they were a victim of, okay? Because once you're in that sex trafficking mix, you kind of stay within the business, You could start out as a victim, but then later on turn into be a pimp later on. But that's certainly not in every case, because I guess I can make another little announcement for you here. But if you're following the Jordan Pruitt lawsuit against Disney, and I forget the name of the producer down there in Tennessee, that's my case too. Jordan Pruitt came to me, and I vetted that case out. I brought it to the law firm of Keith Davidson, who was Beverly Hills attorney. And now if you look up that case, you can find it in Variety. That's my lawsuit, too. And interesting as well, too, that's the lawsuit I was working on. Okay. The day that I got into that big Twitter argument with that guy Gabe Hoffman from An Open Secret. So once again, we have another layer to all this. We're all on the same side here, right? We're all on the same side, but we are all against pedophilia. But here we have Gabe Hoffman attacking me, attacking my credibility at the same time, the same day that I'm putting together advocating for a real life victim. By the way, who has no shadows in her closet too. Like, this is one of the. She's turned out to be a great woman. She's a beautiful person, in every possible way. As all the damage that was done to her, she's just delightful in every way. And I've never gotten involved in any kind of human trafficking, anything like that. But my point of bringing that up was that that's one of those cases where we're all supposed to be on the same side, but Hoffman is attacking me, where here I am working on this case. Hope I'm making sense, but you can kind of see how things get all complicated. When you're working on this kind of stuff and you're involved in these kind of things. It's not all black and white. And it's very easy to place out there low-hanging fruit for people that aren't all that savvy and all that seasoned in this kind of thing to fall for a lot of misdirection. So that's the point I'm trying to make to you guys. I hope it makes some sense. So we'll leave it there, and I'll see you guys. I might do a live show for you tomorrow night, because I got a bunch of notes. Kevin Spacey, his complainant in his case, just died mysterious. I got a bunch of stuff I want to talk about tomorrow that I really hope I can get to it and still get in that long drive to go pick up Vic from the airport. So anyway, guys, let me get going now because I got to go hit to the airport right now with myself and get down and see my daughter. So thank you so much for all your support. Don't forget, the best way to listen to this show is on Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com. That's where most of the shows are, because many, hundreds of shows have been deleted from YouTube. You won't be able to find them on air. So if you like the show and you want to find the old shows, the archives of it, you go to Spreaker.com. If you like the show, you want to support the show, you go to OppermanReport.com, become a member in our members section. And I'm going on a trip right now, so I can use some money. I'll give you $13, 13 months for $65. You got to PayPal me directly at OppermanReport@gmail.com. We're putting up 2 brand new shows up there. A 2-hour interview I did with Servando Gonzalez about his theories about the Cuban Revolution and Castro and stuff like that. I did 2 hours. Another 2 hours with him on top of the hour I just played last week. And an interview, Stu Webb interviewed me. And that's going in the member section too. There's a lot of fireworks in that interview there. I'm exhausted. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Good night.
Spectrum Mobile is reinventing wireless again. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month per line. No contracts, no added taxes or fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60% with Spectrum Mobile. Get unlimited on 2+ lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999 or visit a store near you.
Offer valid for new customers on 2+ unlimited lines. Spectrum Internet required. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans among major national carriers as of 9/20/21. Prepaid excluded. Restrictions apply.
Isn't it time for Celebrity Cruises' biggest Cyber Monday sale? Drinks, Wi-Fi, and tips are always included. Plus, book by November 30th to get 50% off your second guest cruise fare and get up to $300 to spend on board. Visit Celebrity.com, call 1-800-CELEBRITY, or contact your travel advisor. Celebrity Cruises. Journey safe. Journey wonderful.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21+. Terms and conditions apply.
Offer applies to select sailings. Additional restrictions apply. Visit Celebrity.com for details. Ships Registry, Malta.
Riley Herbst from 2311 Racing here, and you know what grinds my gears? Waiting for coffee. But instead of counting frappes and lattes, I fire up Chumba Casino. No apps, no fuss, just fun social casino games to pass the time. By the time my coffee's ready,
Order for Riley.
I've already taken a few victory laps. Next time you're stuck waiting, make it entertaining. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21+. Terms and conditions apply.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.